Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Magelos and this is my top 20 fragrances list for fall 2018 coming right up. So we begin at number 20 with Gucci Envy for men, and this is Gucci Envy. I'm sure you're all familiar with this bottle. This was launched back in late 90s and it was one of my signature scents back in the day. The only reason this spectacular fragrance is that low on the list is because it's discontinued, as you are all aware, and it's very expensive and hard to find. So I'm using this only for special occasions. This is actually oriental with all the kinds of woods like sandalwood and other woodsy notes and patchouli, and you get the lavender, you know, this masculine vibe from the late 90s. But the greatest player here and the most prominent note is ginger, and it's combined perfectly with all the other mentioned notes. I think on Fragrantica I can see like 20 or 25 notes. So yes, number 20, Gucci Envy for men. Moving on to number 19, and we have probably the most simple fragrance on this list. This is called Patchouli Rose, and it's from the brand Malle, a French niche indie probably brand. And sorry, this is the bottle. So it's actually what it says, it patchouli, rose, and of course lots of masks. It opens quite strong and quite potent, but I think it calms down with the help of mask. Probably it doesn't last for so long, but I think it would be a great fragrance for layering, because I told you it's super simple, but it has a gorgeous smell. So yes, who doesn't like patchouli, rose and musk? At number 18 is probably one of my favorite designer scents, and it's Narciso Rodriguez. For him, the Eau de Toilette concentration. Well, this is actually my signature scent when it's raining outside, because it's like, yes, it's like you're smelling the grass and the flowers after a rain, the wet soil smell, and then you have the musks and the flowers. It's not actually flowers, it's violet leaves, but you get the point. This is super simple but made to perfection, as always, from Francis Courtian. And yes, this is number 18, Narciso Rodriguez for him Eau de Toilette. Moving on to number 17, and we have Idole EDP. This is the Eau de Parfum version. There was also a... Well, this bottle is also very beautiful, but there was a version of Eau de Toilette. I envy all the individuals that own the Eau de Toilette bottle, because it's one of the most beautiful looking bottles ever created. I'm joking, of course, I don't envy anyone. Lots of things going on in this composition. You have tons of spices like saffron, and you have balsamic notes, you have woody notes, so many woody notes, and there is some sweetness, some sugary sweetness, and some boozy notes and ambers. Olivia Giacobetti is the perfumer, and she worked wonders on this one. I can't speak highly enough, and I think that, as I recall, the price of this one is ridiculously low for the thing you are getting, you know, like it's 100 mls and it's like it goes for I think 130, 140 euros. I'm not sure about that, but the only issue with this one is that the projection is not so good, but the staying power is like, I don't know, maybe 2 days. It's like you're taking a shower and it's there. Number 17, Idole EDP. At number 16, we have Encens Mythique D Orient from Guerlain. And this is from the special line of Désert d'Orient, I think it's called, which includes Sens d'un Bois d'été and the rose one, I can remember the name right now. So we have lots of rose and aldehydes here, and beautiful incense with woody notes and pink pepper. And at the dry down we have the infamous ambergris. So yes, this is a very good composition and very well blended from Thierry Vasser. Moving on to number 15, and we have Comme Chilom from Stéphane Albert Lucas. This is a very underestimated and discontinued, as I'm aware, fragrance, because it didn't sell so much, probably because of the use of some challenging notes like camphor, like cherry in combination with leather notes. This is actually a very pleasant smell, if you ask me. I don't find anything challenging. It's very pleasant. It has this fruity leathery note with some dark vibes in the background. I think that if you can get your hands on this beauty, you have to try this. At number 14, another designer fragrance, and this is from Aramis, and this is called Havana. This is obviously the discontinued bottle. Oh my goodness, this is probably one of the best tobacco scents. The newest formulation, the one you can find on the square bottles, the transparent square bottles with the sticker Havana. It's the same thing as this one, but a little bit more, let's say, watered down, but I don't like to say this. It's actually the same smell. One of the best spicy orientals with the tobacco. You have the vintage vibe, the vintage oriental masculine vibe of patchouli and cinnamon and nokmos, and so many woody notes, you know, some florals like carnation. It's that low on my list because I have the old bottle right here and I don't want to use the juice inside, you know, so much, so I'm using it sparingly and only special occasions. It reminds me of my youth, you know, when I was at high school. It's one of the first fragrances I ever purchased. This brings so many memories, you know. So yes, number 14, this is Aramis and this is Havana. Moving on to number 13, we have a very beautiful, unfortunately discontinued fragrance from the designer brand, the very well-known designer brand of Christian Lacroix, and it's Tumulte. I hope the focus thing is working right here. So Tumulte is a very dry and woody fragrance, and it's very intense in cedar wood. It also has a lot of sandalwood and a very prominent note of juniper berries. So if you enjoy cedar perfumes, you have to try this one and put your nose on this one, because I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Although it's discontinued, it's not so expensive. At number 12, I have two fragrances. This is a layering suggestion for you. If you want to follow, I will explain why I love this layering so much. And this is initially Spiritueuse Double Vanille from Guerlain. Okay. This is the older bottle, not the oldest bottle, because the oldest bottle was like super different, the same shape, but there was a sticker here with the name and the seal, something like that. So this bottle, as you see, I'm running super low. Okay. The second fragrance that we're going to layer with Spiritueuse Double Vanille is Bois d'Encens from Armani Privé. And this is my favorite bottle from this line because you have this total black look and the metal thing here with the name. And the point in this layering is that you combine a very musky and yummy vanilla with the spices and the woody, the very intense woody notes from this beautiful composition. It's one of my favorite incense, and to be more precise, olibanum, because I smell olibanum in this fragrance. So yes, you have the outcome is a very smoky, woody, dry, and at the same time yummy vanilla. Moving on to number 11, we have one of my favorite newish, let's say, niche perfume houses, Atelier Des Ors, and this is Iris Feuve. Yes, these are the beautiful bottles with the gold flakes inside. Well, this is a spicy floral oriental and has this signature smoky, sweet, musky and spicy, warm spicy like cinnamon. I smell this a lot in these compositions, but I enjoy it so much because it's perfectly blended by the perfumer Marisa Lamagne. At number 11, Atelier des Ors, Iris Feuve. So we reached the top 10, and at number 10 we have from the brand of Kajal, and this is called Sawlaj. So Kajal is one of my newest discoveries. I discovered this brand last year when I was at Encens in Milan, Most of these fragrances from this brand are spicy and oriental. You probably noticed that I really enjoy wearing some spicy oriental fragrances during fall time. And Sawlaj is actually a less funky and most modern take on Bel Ami from Hermes. The famous Bel Ami from Hermes, the vintage one actually. And yes, this is very fruity, leathery, floral, with lots of Humbers, you know. The bottle is like, my hand is like, whew, it's very heavy. The heaviest bottle I ever acquired. And the bottles are very beautiful with this matte glass and the metal. Number 10, Sawlaj from Kajal Perfumes. At number 9 we have Lumière Noire from Maison Francis Coursian. This is a must try. I hope you can see it because it's a little bit difficult with this lighting. Imagine like a barbershop scent but in Middle East, like without lavender and with a good use of rose and patchouli, of course. Many musks. There is some cumin inside, but I don't smell cumin inside this, and of course Artemisia. So you have this round, very pleasant, very crowd pleasing and compliment getter if you care about compliments. This is a must try and I hope you agree with me. At number 8 we find Incident Diplomatique from the house of Jovoy or Jovois. Well, what can I say about this fragrance? It blew me away from the first sniff. So it's so simple yet so sophisticated and complex at the same time. You know, you have this zesty orangey opening with lots of woods and musks, and then you have this dry wood and vetiver and patchouli. It's out of this world, guys. This is really amazing. This blew me away. I could easily put this on top of this list, but I think I will prefer wearing it more during winter time. Let's see if I make a list during winter time. I will probably include this beauty. You know, I can describe it properly. You have to try this one, trust me. Number 8, Incident Diplomatique from Jovoy or Jovois. At number 7 we have B-612 from Nishane, one of my favorite niche brands. And this is a very clever interpretation of fougere fragrances, a very modern fougere fragrance. They replaced lavender with cypress. So you have the musks, you have the cypress, you have coumarin, you have all the essential mousse de chêne, of course, okmos. So we have a classic fougere here with a twist, the replacement of lavender with cypress. A must try. At number 6 we have the only fragrance that's a thing in this list from Frédéric Malle. Yes, this is French Lover from Pierre Bourgoin, or Bois d'Orage if you live in the United States, because I think it's called like Bois d'Orage, yes. So this thing is a masterpiece, and it's a shame because most of the reviewers, bloggers, we actually emphasize in the creations of Dominique Ropion from Frédéric Malle, like Portrait of a Lady or The Night or Vetiver Extraordinaire, or you know, he created such masterpieces as well. But this beauty from Pierre Bourgoin is one of the best fresh, aromatic, woody, green fragrances that you can ever put your nose on. Trust me, this is out of this world. This is like you get this galbanum and nocmus, you know, this slightly dirty and green and woody note with the vetiver, and you have the angelica giving this freshness. Seriously, you definitely have to try this one if you haven't already. And I'm sure this will be one of your staples during fall or probably spring. I can see one wearing this during summertime as well, if it's raining outside, you know. Probably it's more suitable for fall time, you know. You definitely have to try this one. At number 5 we have one of my favorite leather fragrances in the modern perfumery from a very favorite as well niche brand, Dusita. And this is Le Sillage Blanc. Le Sillage Blanc has the signature galbanum note that Pisara Mobidjani, the perfumer of this brand, she's an expert using this note. So you have a beautiful opening with a little bit of neroli and galbanum, and afterwards you have some florals and then the leathery vibe. Some people compare this with Bandit. I think that this was the inspiration of Pisara creating this beautiful fragrance that you really have to add to your collection, in my humble opinion. If you like leather cypher fragrances, you have to add this to your collection. At number 4 we have Prison Blues from Ideo Parfumeur. It's a brand from Lebanon and I adore all of their creations. This one grew on me, you know, at the first time when I sniffed it I was like, okay, that's a beautifully blended patchouli, but I smelled that before. No, it's not a typical patchouli. It's actually a very smooth, like creamy and a little bit spicy patchouli with cardamom. You have some ouds inside, some florals. The sting power is out of this world. It's like I wore this like for a night out, and next day I woke up and took a shower, and then I wanted to apply another fragrance and I said, no, I'm wearing a fragrance. Ideo Parfumeur is a fairly new brand, but so many great offerings. So yes, check this brand out. I'm sure you won't be disappointed at all. Number 4, Prison Blues from Ideo Parfumeur. We finally reached top 3, and at number 3 we have probably my favorite from the most modern Chanel, and this is Chanel Sycomore. And this is the Eau de Toilette version. You can see, I hope you can see the Eau de Toilette mentioned inside, beneath the sticker. So Sycomore, you've seen I used a lot. Sycomore is probably the most dark and mysterious and sophisticated vetiver I ever put my nose on. It's so deep. The projection is not so good on me, but I don't care at all. Whenever I wear this fragrance, when it's my scent of the day, I usually have a decant with me and reapply, because I really enjoy this opening, this dark vetiver woody opening. You have this sweetness as well. I never smelled the Eau de Parfum version, what you can find on the market and the stores. I don't know if this is the Eau de Toilettes are going for super high dollars or euros. I really don't know that, but I'm positive that the Eau de Parfum won't be that bad, you know. So number 3, Chanel Sycomore. Number 2, probably my most worn fragrance thus far during 2018, and this is from the affiliated brand of Xerjoff, Kemi, and this is called Tempest. I think it's extrait de parfum, probably, yes. This initially came up as an attar, and they brilliantly created a spray version as well. Anyways, this is pure bliss, guys. It opens very floral, and you have this resin, the elemi resin, like fresh floral and fruity, and then you get a slight funkiness from oud and so many woody notes and some ambers. And guys, this is amazing. This is my most worn fragrance thus far in 2018. I wore this during summertime as well. I wore it during springtime. You see, I wore a lot. And this is, trust me, this is like 2 sprays and you are good to go. This is super strong. Number 2, Kemi Tempest. And finally, at number 1, top position in this top 20, it's none other than Pikovaya Dama. This is the oldest bottle. There is no difference in formulation comparing to the newest, more oval bottles. Words can describe how much I love this fragrance. It's the most modern interpretation of old Chypre floral fragrances, and we have a very good use of aldehydes combined with iris. We have some sweet notes from vanilla, some smoking notes from incense, and of course a spectacular opening of bergamot and citruses. So you have a complete Chypre, new version Chypre fragrance, and it's like all year round fragrance. This is definitely a must try now that it is available and not exclusive in Russia, I think in St. Petersburg airport, duty free. This is my number one in my top 20 fall list. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment if you like this list. Thank you.